Hello, welcome everyone. Hope you're having a good new year so far. Here we are in 2025 already, and as we are starting this year, hope you've been enjoying these videos, and I want to talk about something today that all of us face in the new year, and that comes up in the new year, and that is questions. And in the beginning of the year, we have resolutions. We start to ask ourselves, what's this year going to be like? What do we want to do? Where are we going this year? All of these things. That's good stuff. And then questions are important, but questions have always fascinated me, and I've loved questions my whole life. Even when I think about the little question mark, you know, that little curvy line that somehow jumps and ends in some point. That's what a question feels like a lot of times. It's this wandering curve that we go along and go around and maybe go over something. And then we reach this point where we seem to have to make this jump to some final point. And questions have always been amazing to me because they can do so many things, especially determining how you ask them. And when I think about Jesus asked a whole lot more questions than he ever gave answers. And a lot of times we come to Jesus, come to God, come to the Lord in an attitude of what's the answer? But when we look at Jesus' life in the Gospels, that's not really how things play out. When people come to the Lord, usually he's the question more than he is the answer. And that's always fascinated me and encouraged me, especially because I like questions. And in the Gospels, Jesus asked over 300 questions. That's a lot of questions. And he's asked by other people over 180 questions. Out of all the questions he's asked, out of all those 180 plus, I think it's about 183, he only answers about 3 to 8 of them, depending on how you define your answer or what an answer is. That's not a whole lot of answers to a whole lot of questions. And sometimes we feel like that in our relationship with God. We have all these questions and we come to him and we're like, where's the answer? He does have the answer. He knows the answer. He knows all things because he's God, he's Lord, he's Master. And it's incredible. But even in his position of knowing all things and being all powerful and having the answers, he doesn't allow us just to settle for a relationship of question and answer, because questions do so much more than that. And as I think about that question mark, I think it is very poetic and very pictorial of what a question is and the importance of a question. The importance of a question has to be so much more than just finding answers. And as you were probably asking questions in this new year, in this culture, in this nation of the United States that we live in, and really all over the world, there's a lot of questions. What's going to happen? What's going to happen in the nation? What's going to happen in the culture? What's going to happen in our families? What's going to happen economically? And we're all looking for answers. But I think as we ask questions, it's an opportunity for us to realize that questions are more than just being about finding an answer. And that's what Jesus shows us. And that's what God reveals to us in the questions that he asks us and in the questions that we ask him. One of the questions that gets repeated that Jesus asks is, what do you look for? Or who are you looking for? And it points to this reality of when God asks us a question, it's about an invitation. It's about a relationship. It's about a journey. It's about a walk. I think about Adam and Eve, even in Genesis, in the garden, after they had eaten of the fruit they weren't supposed to eat of, they hid themselves. They were naked. They were ashamed. But God showed up. The voice of the Lord showed up walking in the cool of the day, and he asked him a question. Where are you? Now that where are you wasn't because God didn't know or couldn't find out where they were. That question was an invitation to have a relationship, to go on the walk, to go on the journey. And as we begin this new year, there's a lot of questions that come up. But I want us to start looking at questions in a different way. Not just looking for an answer, but looking for the relationship that we're supposed to walk in and the journey that we're supposed to take. Questions should be more about gathering information along the journey and even at the destination. Because as you walk in the relationship that you're to walk in, and as you journey along that path, there will come a point where you kind of got to make some leaps to get to a final point. But even there at the final point, you're still in relationship. You're still enjoying the walk together. And so think about these questions. These are some of the ones that Jesus repeated. What and who do you look for? What do you want me to do for you? And do you love me? Think about those questions as invitations to partake of the relationship that you can have with God this year, no matter what happens, no matter what comes, no matter what you face. A lot of questions may come. You may have a lot of questions, but God knows how to handle questions because He's a master of questions and He's a master of relationship because He loves you and He cares about you and He's given His life for you. And so in all the questions you have this year, think about relationship, in the relationship that you're having with God and with Jesus Christ, the Messiah, the Savior, the one who has come to have relationship with us. Have a great, happy, blessed year this year, and do not fear as you face questions this year. Continue to walk in the relationship God has for you. God bless you.